Welcome to Vialet Studio, where Vialet and her guests share stories of their passions, inspirations, and spiritual journeys. Vialet creates a sacred and fun space for individuals to be able to share information about themselves, their work, and their community. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet. Vialet Rain.
Well, welcome to Violet Studio. I am so excited today to have Nicole Piar with us. Nikki is a super fan, so those in the community that know my daughter Nikki that works in the center, she is the reason that I found Nicole because she's like, Mom, you've got to get these cards for the center. And so we've carried Spirit Cat Oracle cards for quite a while, and we're looking to get her cosmic allies in the next week or so. But I can't wait to talk to her today. She's so fun. So Nicole, welcome to our show. Talk to us a little bit about your journey. What got you into these beautiful cat stories and making oracle cards?
Yes, so the Oracle decks, it kind of found me, although I've always loved, I've loved cards and tarot cards and Oracle cards for a really long time. I think my mom gave me my first, it was sort of a takeoff on a tarot deck. Like it was tarot, but it was mostly the major arcana and then plus, plus another like 15 cards, but it wasn't the full tarot. So she gave that to me, I think when I was like 15, and I loved it. I was obsessed with it, and I started to do readings for my friends with it. And I would actually do pen and ink drawings of the cards themselves just for myself because I loved the mixture of the imagery and then the symbology and the words, and then how this is can be a way to kind of become intimate with your inner world and communicate with your higher self and all of, so there's this that element of like intimacy and magic where it was just your own little world and you're looking through the cards, and if you're doing it for someone else, it creates this wonderful connection. And I still remember my best friend and I, when we were little, we were like on a camping trip with our moms, and I had my cards, and we were like sitting in the dirt, like by the lake under the trees, and I was like doing readings for her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I think I've loved them for a long time, and I've also done a lot of art and writing since I was a child, and I was doing illustration as my career, and the spirit cats just started appearing in these free form painting sessions that I was doing. So just completely intuitive, they started emerging, and they were coming through with messages and names, and I was sharing them with my online community at the time. And a few people were like, I think this is an oracle deck. Are you going to make an inspirational card deck out of this? Like, what's this going to be? And I wasn't thinking ahead as to what it was going to be at that point. I was more just getting to meet these spirit cats and find out what their energy was like. But then I really did realize that it was it was actually an oracle deck. So I ended up diving in and really, going down that rabbit hole and painting more and writing more, and then kind of bringing together the whole. So yeah, it tiptoed up on me.
I love that. I love that. So I know you have a deck with you today. Not that I would put you on the spot, but what are some of your favorite cards in there? What are some of the stories? Right?
Yeah. Oh, so okay, let's see. So this is my deck. Spirit Cats. That's the cover.
Love it. Yeah.
And so let me look through and find some of usually my favorites will sort of shift and change. One of the cards that I love, I pull this card a lot, and I really love pulling it because the card is bliss. And the reason why this is so helpful to me, this card, whenever I pull it, because it's all about knowing that it's like leaning into what feels good. If something feels good, allow more of it in. It's kind of like the anti-Puritan card. Like, it's like, and what if something that feels really good can actually be an amazing teacher? You know, it can open you up to your connection to spirit. It can stimulate creativity, because I actually find when I lean into that state of bliss, of things that feel good and less more like a more like strict discipline, when I lean into that, creativity just flows, and it comes through, things just come through. And they come through like easier and quicker, because it's just the perfect flow and timing with your own spirit. So you don't have to fight it as much. You don't have to fight yourself. It's like you're allowing. So whenever this card comes through a lot, because I think this is medicine that I often need, is a little bliss medicine.
I love
And
that.
it said, I'll read a little line of it. It says, this is an invitation to embrace all that is marvelous in your life. Let bliss overcome you as you bask in the limitless love of a million sunrises. So I love picking this card, and she comes up like, you know how you have those cards when you're drawing that just, they like follow you. She's one of my follower cards. And it reminds me, okay, like I can relax a little bit more, feeling good. That's that, like, follow that thread, like what gets me into that ecstatic state, what opens me up. So
I love
yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And then I have, let's see, I wanted to show. So some of these cats were, at the time when I was painting them, some of them were people who were sharing pictures of their cats with me online, and they would be used for, I would use them for inspiration, and kind of just like feel into which ones. But this one is actually my cat when she was a kitten. And so as I was saying before, I was painting cats, and I did this project where I was painting cats every day for 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, within 2 weeks, she turned up on my doorstep needing a home. And so I ended up with a real cat. And so she's synchronicity, because it was a complete synchronicity. I mean, she really needed a home. She wasn't in a good housing situation, and she was like rescued and then needed a place to be. But at the same time, it was also a really challenging time for me. My partner had gotten taken away to work in London, and it was only supposed to be for 2 weeks, and they kept extending it and extending it, extending it. Actually ended up being just under a year, but it was like every 2 weeks they would extend it more. So I never like knew, like I couldn't even go to visit him, because I kept thinking that he was coming back, and then he wouldn't be coming back. And so it was really, it was challenging for me, and I was having a lot of trouble like sleeping at night. And she came, and she like climbed into bed with me. Even though she's kind of timid around strangers, the first night she was at my house, she climbed into bed with me, like cuddled up by my head. And whenever I woke up that night, I would just like touch her with my hand, and I would feel my body relax, and I would like be able to fall back to sleep. So I really felt like she was this healing blessing, like a little guardian cat that came. And I knew that I was really helping her and like giving her a much like calmer, nurturing, loving environment. So she's my endless cuddle buddy, and she's a synchronicity cat, just knowing that things can pop up in the perfect timing for you, and just come through to like help you just when you need them. So yeah, that's my kitty. So of course she has a special place in my heart.
I love that. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing some of your favorites. And you have one behind you too, isn't that?
Yes, this one is Sorceress. So she's this one right there, getting used to the mirror. Yeah, she is actually going to be in my new cat deck. She's not in Spirit Cats. She's going to be in Witch Cats, which is the one that's coming up. And I'm really excited about this one, and it should be coming out this year. It looks like I'm almost done all the paintings, and I'm working on the writing. And the Witch Cats are they're really to help people merge with their most magical, their higher self. It's kind of it's like the practical magic deck. It's like really bringing down all of that magic into the earthly realm and how you can work with it for manifestation and just tapping into that more infinite part of yourself. So it's literally the witch cats.
I love that.
And yeah, so she's sorceress, and that's kind of in each deck I actually have a cat that's kind of like my avatar in the deck. So in Spirit Cats, it's this one, which is Ghost Kitten, which is also on Instagram, I'm Ghost Kitten Art. But she's in the intuition card. And so I have this one as my avatar for me because really I was following the thread of intuition, and you can kind of see that there's almost like little like paint lines on the side. And so that's like painting from that place of intuition and letting the whole deck come from that place of channeling. So she's my, it doesn't say obviously, but I know that she's my avatar in the deck, and sorceress will be my one for witch cats. She's the magician and knows how to create from a place of bliss and pleasure. And yeah, so
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. And you have a second deck too called Cosmic Allies. Did I get that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I have my Cosmic Allies Altar Art deck and book. And that one is here. So this one is, the box is really fun. I'm not sure if you can tell in this lighting. Maybe if I like,
kind of,
but it looks silvery, but it's actually holographic. Oh, there you get a little bit of the rainbow. It's like trying to catch the sunlight in the room.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. It has a lot of like holographic elements. Like little stars and sparkles, and it's also a lot bigger. So you can see it next to the Spirit Cats. It's a bigger deck because it's not an oracle deck or a tarot deck. It's meant as an altar art deck. So you actually keep you would display the cards in your space. You can use like either on your altar or okay, so I'll show you. Here's the sides. It's also holographic edge. And the cards themselves are a lot thicker. So you might be able to tell too here. They're like pretty thick. Yeah. And they're actually kind of rigid. So that's so that they really stand up well. And I have a little gold moon stand that I made that's the perfect size. You can use it for other oracle decks, and you can use it for tarot decks, but it's actually designed perfectly to fit this. So you can stand this up in your space, whether you want it on your altar, on your desk, on your nightstand. You can also just put this on a little shelf on your bookshelf or wherever. And the Cosmic Allies are an exploration of the 7 planetary energies in astrology. And so there are all these 7 archetypes. And this is the bonus card, which is as above, so below. And so this is the idea that we have these planetary energies or deities, and then we're able to, that's the as above, and then the so below is we're able to embody them, communicate with them, really use that energy in our own life, see the world in a different perspective, and really reclaim the full expression of our power. So it's a lot of fun, and it comes with this book. And the book has all different ways that they're really fun, creative, playful ways that you can work with the Cosmic Allies. And so you can use this book to kind of like chart your own journey, your own adventure with it, and choose, like pick and choose what you want to experiment with and what you want to try. And you can use them for manifestation work. You can also just use them to create a more poetic experience, a more enchanted experience of your day-to-day, because each one goes with the 7 days of the week. So one thing I like to do is put out the card for that day of the week and maybe read the little invocation and choose a mantra from the book. So this is Tuesday, which is today. This is the Mars card. So you can go through like this one, Sunday, Sun, and you can kind of change them as you go, and it gives you an energy of the day. And in the book, there's, if you go to one of the pages for one of the cosmic allies, it will tell you, let me pull up the sun. So it will give you an invocation, and it also tells you what types of things it helps with. If you are doing any spell work or manifestation work, that kind of gives you an idea of what's in the domain of the cosmic ally. It tells you what day of the week it's associated with, the colors, so you can wear the colors, use the colors in your altar, or even just envision the colors, like imagine the color. Like I love for the sun to imagine the golden light, like the yellow gold light of the sun just coming from my heart and filling my whole body with that light. So you can also use it in that way. There's tarot cards and zodiac associations with each one, and there's suggestions for offerings if you'd like to do offerings, which I love doing the offerings. I'll usually do an offering each morning. And to me, it's less of like an offering to a god or goddess, and more like a physical kind of anchor of honoring that energy in myself and in the world, and giving it, really seeing the power of that specific energy, and taking a moment of like communion with that energy. So the offerings to me are a nice moment to bring that in. Foods that are associated with, and drinks, minerals and metals, and also action. So you can, for sun, one of them is eating nourishing food. So you can even think of that if you make like a really amazing fresh greens salad, because a lot of the fresh greens are associated with the sun. And then as you're eating them, you can imagine merging with the energy of the sun, which is vitality, radiance, self-expression, individuality. So really feeling that within yourself. So you can use just something as simple as eating a meal, and you can bring in this ritual or magical aspect to it to kind of elevate it and bring in the sacred. So it's a lot of fun. And then there's little mantras that go with each one as well. So one of the mantras for the sun is, may the golden light of my soul infuse every cell in my body. It kind of gives you a feeling. So it's really fun to work with, and it's very different. There's not many other, I don't think there's any other decks like this. So it's a very different experience, and it's a whole world that you can play in and create your own adventure.
And it isn't all cats. It has other things in it besides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can give a little, since there's not so many cards in this one, I can kind of show. Let's see. So we start with, there is a cat for the sun. And on the back, we have a color field painting that I did that kind of gives the colors and the vibe. And it says sun, and it has the planetary glyph as well. And then we have moon for Monday.
Ooh.
And we have Mars. I'm going to feel that fiery, passionate energy. And Wednesday we have Mercury, the winged messenger. So this creature is part hummingbird, part human.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and Jupiter for Thursday. This is wealth and abundance and joy, laughter, generosity, the foundations of abundance in your life. And we have Venus, which is a lush garden, magical snake. So she's the energy of beauty and creativity and love and friendship and magnetism. And we end the week with Saturn, which is boundaries, limitations, structures, time bound.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then the last is the as above, so below. So yeah,
one of my favorites. I love that.
Yeah, I love that one. I have in my studio, I have as above, so below, and then I also have the Mercury, because this year I'm doing a lot of work with Mercury. So I have Mercury permanently up in my studio space, and as above, so below is just such an amazing, it's such an amazing part of anything where you're working with anything physical, in the earthly plane to induce an internal or spiritual experience, and vice versa, that the spiritual experience affects the world around you. So it's this mirroring. So that's why they're mirroring the earth, and the spirit or the sky are mirroring each other. And it's sort of it's also like a love affair. They're gazing into each other's eyes, and then that's the divine union of earth and spirit is us.
Love
Here.
that. I love that. I love that. It's beautiful.
And of course, that'd be in kitty form, because this is me making it after all.
Of course it did. Well, and those watching, if you go to her website, you can actually purchase prints and art and stuff from her as well. She also has beautiful pendulums and bells and all kinds of ritual tools out there that are pretty cool. I was very tempted. So I've been out there looking at the website to see what I need to get to bring in. So lots of beautiful stuff. So pretty cool. So she has 2 decks, Spirit Cats and Cosmic Allies. She's working on Witch Cat deck, which we can't wait to see what that turns out. But she also does soul, where you can contact her and she'll actually do a soul painting or a soul art piece for you. And that's on her website if you're interested in doing that. And she does a vision. Is it a vision quest? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, it's called Vision Seeker, and it's a 13-day guided quest using oracle cards or tarot cards. You can use your own deck. You can work with any deck you feel drawn to. Of course, I love to work with spirit cats, but I also work with tarot a lot. They complement each other nicely. And it's a free offering. And we go through using daily learnings, guided meditations that I've recorded, creative exercises and journaling prompts with a card spread each day. And it's literally you're seeking your vision. So it helps you get more clear on your vision and your direction. It helps you be able to make decisions with more confidence, because those decisions are aligned with your most magical self, your soul self. So they have that there's a harmony between, rather than feeling conflicted, when you tap into that deep intuition, there's a harmony. And so it's easier to have the confidence to step forward. There might be things that still make you nervous, or like you might still have some fears that you're confronting, but inside on a deep level, you feel this steadiness because of that alignment. So it helps people to find that within themselves. And it's just once you do it, you can do it once, but you can also then just keep it. And anytime you feel like a little stagnant or maybe a little bit clouded, not really sure what the next step is or how to proceed, you can actually go through it again at your own. You can keep the whole sequence and all the tools and go through it again at your own pace as well. So yeah, it's a really great way to work deeper with cards and, have a little quiet moment with your journal and your cards and a little tea. And
I love that. We all need more of that, right?
Yeah.
So busy. It's nice to take a break. She also has a newsletter. Talk to us about your newsletter, because you were talking to me a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah. So I have my weekly moon letters I send out, and this is, I do obviously share, news, like things that I'm working on, and special like discounts and things like that. So that's what you would normally expect from a newsletter. But I also really use it as a space to really share what I am learning and experiencing, and stories from my own life, and what I've gleaned from them and how I'm processing them, to really share some of those moments of revelation. And I also share rituals that I've been working with, daily rituals or specific rituals for, self-love, or a moon ritual, or whatever. It's always comes from a place of something that I've really had an intimate experience with. And I'm sharing for people to see if they want to experiment with it as well. And I look at it as a place to connect. So one of the missions of my work is to create a bridge between my inner world and your inner world. And the moon letters are a great place to do that. And I encourage dialogue, and people can always write back to me and always respond. So it's a really sweet place that I put a lot of energy into. So yeah, you're more than welcome to sign up for that on my website. And then the other cool thing about it is that when you do sign up, you get access to my treasury, and that has, digital art, wallpaper for your phone, like wallpapers for your phone and computer. It has lots of guided meditations that I've recorded for all sorts of things. One of my favorite ones is called Ground, Cleanse, and Protect. That's just a daily energy healing that you can do on yourself. And I actually recorded 2 versions, a 12-minute version and a 6-minute version. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll do the 12-minute one in the morning to kind of reset and do my daily energy work on myself. And then if I find myself sort of veering off or having a hard time at another point in the day, I'll just do the quick 6-minute one. And it's like topping off the gas tank. You're like, I need a little bit more. That was really intense, or like I got really ungrounded, or
I love that.
Yeah, so there's lots of stuff like that in there, lots of resources, and then I continually add to them too, and bring in new things for people. There's also kitty scopes too, which are fun little, going with this, similar to tarot scopes, there's little readings for your sign, but I use the spirit cat stack, so that's why they're kitty scopes.
I love that. So it sounds like a lot of fun things that we can connect with, and have a connection with you, follow you, and then also be part of your journey, because it sounds like that's really what it is being able to connect, right, and learn and expand. So I really love that. I think you do amazing work. I've been really amazed with your cards, and this is our second interview. Really amazed with your journey and what you're doing. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. Those of you watching, I've invited her to come to Denver as soon as it's safe to travel, and if she's ever out here. So I'm looking forward to having her at the center where people can meet and greet her when we're ready to do some of that stuff, and to have her here. And I look forward to meeting her in person.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Right? And having fun. Her artwork is beautiful. Amazing work, Nicole. What an inspiration for so many people.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And I will have the website below. Please check out the website. Check out all of her offerings. Reach out. She's got plenty of things there for you to interact with and check out. Thank you so much for taking the time today to be here, and to chat with me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to have you on the show again when you get closer to having your witch cat card deck ready. We'll have you back, and we'll check it out next. So
yeah, it'll be fun. A lot of the cats are already there, and a lot of the meanings have already come through, and actually printed out little miniature cards of them for myself. And I've been shuffling it in the morning and drawing a witch cat, and like just tuning in to see what message it has to say. So it's been this really fun organic process, and I think that they're very excited to come out and play with everyone.
I'm sure they are, and we're really excited to get to connect with them as well. We can't wait to do that. So again, keep us in the loop. Let us know when you're getting close. I will sign up for your newsletter, Moon Letter, so that I can keep track of what's happening with you, so that we know. But thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. It's been absolutely fun. So those of you watching, thank you for watching today. We look forward to seeing you at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Come in and pick up your decks. We're going to have them here very, very soon, so you can stop in and pick them up, or you can go to Nicole's website and order them directly from there. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching today.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness.
Well, what was your experience like? Did you ever grow up having any psychic experiences?
Come experience the difference at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Got involved with SFM?
That's a great question. Actually, I always had a little bit of trouble fitting in. And I grew up in a small town in Michigan. Why are you laughing? No, I grew up in a small town.
Because I know you so well.
I knew you were doing it for that reason. Yeah, I tried, but God knows I didn't. So when I was about 19, these kids from Detroit came to our small town in Michigan, and we were going to go to a party. And my sister and her friend just left without me. So I'm sitting there having dinner with my parents going, why did they leave me? And this voice said, because they were jealous. And I said, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know. Didn't really have experience. When I was about 15 or 16, I said to my mother, why are we here? What's the purpose? And she said, well, we go out to dinner and we go to movies. And I thought, that doesn't seem to be right. That just doesn't fit. But really, other than that, I didn't. And then like you indicated, I just started taking classes. I've never been a big reader in terms of books, so it's mostly been classes and things.
Okay.
And there was a woman named Mildred McDonald who was a spiritualist medium, and I decided to get a reading from her. And I'm sitting in her bedroom, and she has a table, and she has a big sign in the back, and it says readings $10. That's how long ago it was. Such and such, and then it said trance. And I said, what is trance, to myself? And her eyes closed and her leg shot straight out and she went into trance. I started studying with her. And that's how I got into it.
Did she give you some big, insightful information? Did you connect with some loved ones?
That's a really great question. She, it's so far back, she basically talked about where I was going and things like that. And she talked about her guide. And her guide was named Kashita. And Kashita was a derivative of the Akashic records.
Okay.
She said people do not, she said the spirits on the other side a lot of times don't like to give you their real name because they feel like it could be used, in a negative way. But it was interesting. And I know at the time she did it was fascinating. She predicted her own death years later. She said, all of you talk about death, but, one day you'll know it. She would be in church and we'd be holding hands and she'd start rising. So it was just an interesting experience. One message she did give me that really fit was we would sit around, she and her assistant Judy and myself, and they would get me to go to 7-Eleven and get cigarettes for them. And she said, if you keep doing this, you're going to start smoking. And that was exactly what happened. But it was an interesting experience, really. I know,
Sounds like
funny.
it. Sounds like
God.
it, right? That's pretty awesome. Levitating in church, that had to
Oh
be
my God.
an
It's like,
amazing
what's she doing?
Is
This
she
little
fine?
short woman went up from 5'4" to about 5'6". It's like, whoa.
Pretty
It was
awesome.
interesting. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Great experience. And then I just kept studying and things fell into place, sort of.
Yeah, I love that. Well, talk to us about, I know you're really connected to the I Ching. So talk to us about what that is for people that have never heard of it. What is that? How do you utilize it? And why do you love it so much?
Do we have 5 hours? No, I'm just kidding. I learned about the I Ching when I was 36, and I was working at a psychic center in Denver called Crystal Light. No relationship to the drink. One of the readers named Michael kept talking about Howard. And Howard turned out to be Howard Badhand, who was Lakota medicine man and a shaman on Rosebud in South Dakota. And once a month, Howard would come to Denver, and he and Michael would go out to dinner, and then they'd study the I Ching. And Michael asked if I'd like to meet Howard, and I was ambivalent, but I said, okay. So we go to pick up Howard at this place he was staying at, this little, tiny Native American man, probably shorter than me, gray beard, gray braids, headband, t-shirt, takes my hands in his and says, you know, you're really intuitive. I teach. And once a month he would come and we'd go out to dinner and do the I Ching. So I Ching stands, it's 2 words. It's E for change like a lizard, and Ching, which is the term applied to all the ancient Chinese classics. There are 3 versions. There's a Taoist, a Tibetan, and a Chinese. I do the Chinese. In 1920, it's over 3,000 years old, by the way. And until recently, every single educated Asian needed to know it. So in 1926, a German Christian missionary named Richard Wilhelm, who lived in China, brought the I Ching back to Germany in the way it was used. And you can still get his book today. In fact, Carl Jung wrote the preface to his book and called it a book for lovers of self-wisdom. Confucius is supposed to have said at age 70, if he had 70 more years, he'd learn the I Ching more. But that doesn't really answer your question. Basically, it's a way of being connected with your higher self. And so you ask a question, you throw 3 coins, 3 pennies or 3 I Ching coins 6 times. And each time you do that, you add the coins. Like one of the coins counts as a 2 and one counts as 3. So at the end of the time, you're going to have a 6-figure hexagram, which is basically going to answer your questions. It's incredibly powerful. So you'll say something like, what can you tell me about? And it will absolutely tell you. It's powerful. And it's better to ask questions in terms of what can you tell me about rather than should I or should I not? But it blows me away. And I'll be doing a reading for somebody and they'll throw the coins. And you'll see the coin spin and flip. It's just uncanny. It really is the only reading I give myself because I love the cards, but the cards are still open for me, at least to interpretation. So it's basically a way of connecting with your higher self and being your own psychic. Does that make sense and answer your question?
It does, and I love the fact it's what that you don't ask what should I do, because a lot of people that come in that are looking for answers, they want us to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. And you know, I always have to say, you got a gift when you came into this planet. It's called free will, free choice, and it's your choice to make. It's not my choice. I can show you insights, but I can't make those choices for you. So I love that is what you can tell me about versus what should I do about this or that.
I love that. And I do it for myself too, because I'm the first one who wants to know what I should do. But there's one hexagram, which is really interesting. It's number 4, and it's called Youthful Folly. And if you keep asking the same question, it'll say, just stop asking me. I'll tell you once, but after that, you're on your own. But yeah, I like the fact that you kind of leave it open. Yeah, it's amazing, amazing. I just love it.
You know, that falls into, it keeps telling you, don't ask me again, to the concept of when people come to like a reader fair and they go to 10 people and ask the same question, and Spirit's like, I've given you the answer.
I know it. I know it. I absolutely agree with you. And it's like, and you know, if you notice that they're probably going to get the same answer in different ways. It's like, just don't keep asking me. Or I can't tell you what you want to hear if it's not going to fit. Or they'll take my license away from me.
Yeah, leave the guy. How many times do I have to tell you? Leave the guy.
I know.
Don't hang around.
And you get into this thing where you can't really say do this, but you can say something like, okay, I'm not going to tell you whether you should stay or leave, because they know. If they say, should I leave this person? But I will say something to the effect, if you continue the way you are, nothing's going to change. I think people know a lot of times, don't you? I think they know the answer already.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
want us to tell them what they want.
Well, a different answer, and a different answer doesn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that I can tap in and get answers. Dave can tap in and get answers. You can tap in and get answers. But even us, sometimes we're human. I'll go to somebody just to see, and the answer I'm getting is that, can I get confirmation that that's the right answer? But I'm not going to go to 10 people and have them tell me the same thing, right?
No.
It's like Spirit's getting frustrated. It's like, really? But I think for me sometimes, because it's so personally close, that when I ask the question, it's like, am I hearing that right? Am I getting that right? And I think all of us have that human nature of, hey, let me go see someone and see, what gets confirmed that I'm hearing. But going to 10 different people, Spirit gets frustrated. They're like, wait a minute, I've already given you the answers. You just don't like the answers.
I know. That's the thing. Let me ask it a different way, and maybe get the right answer that I want. But I'm with you. I love getting readings. I really do. But so many times you give someone a reading and they'll go, thank you, I already knew that. And they sound disappointed. But the reader didn't know it. So yeah, 10 people, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? It's a lot. So with psychic development, Dave mentioned that you believe everybody can connect.
Everybody's psychic. Well, psychic just means really outside the six senses, and everybody is. They get it in different ways. And I think that's what gets in the way. People think that they all do it the same way. And I heard this wonderful quote, which Buddha said, that if every bird had to be the best singer in the forest, the woods would be really quiet. So, the thing that gets in the way or really slows people down is trying to develop a gift that maybe they aren't strongest in. So what I like to do is help people find out where their strongest gifts are. I was doing a class once, and everybody was going around in a circle talking about what their gifts were. And this one woman, I'm clairaudient, I hear it. And the woman next to me was too. And then the third woman said, well, I don't hear it, but I really wish I did. But she could feel it, and she was an incredible healer. But absolutely everybody has it. And it's, you know what, honestly, meditation is the one way you'll tune in. And if people would meditate, which I'm not saying they don't, everybody's got it. Just trust it. Practice. Say to somebody, give me your ring or your grandmother's ring and let me see what I get. Or just write down a question and then close your eyes and wait for the answer to come to you. I think we make it a lot harder than it needs to be. Does that make sense? But everybody's absolutely psychic. They're either clairaudient where they hear it, or clairvoyant where they see it, or clairsentient where they feel it, or claircognizant where they know it. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here yet, but I think everybody is psychic.
And it's about trusting too. It's about, and I think people think that these gifts are very similar to our physical senses, that Spirit just comes in and sits down in a chair beside you and you have this conversation like all of us are having today, and that's how this works. And it doesn't quite work that way. It's a little different. So you gotta recognize the subtleties of how the information comes in different ways. And
yeah.
Right? Because it comes to us in many, many different ways. Synchronicities, just stuff that keeps popping in our mind, comes in different ways. You just gotta be open and recognize. A lot of people, I think, believe that it's just them making it up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This information, I'm making it up. So Yeah, just being open. I love seeing people. But you're right. We've all had people that are like, I really want to be able to see, or I really want to be able to hear. And I think when you try to make yourself be something that's not you, or that's not how you were wired to be, it makes it tough. You got to be open to your gifts. What makes you special? How do you get information?
I agree, and you're absolutely right. Some people just, I want to hear my guides, and they're hearing their guides. You know, they're seeing a book and a book falls on top of them, or they hear a song, or they hear a conversation. You know, it's just relinquishing the way people, and it's not a criticism, people don't know, but I think it's easier than people realize a lot of times. And I think another thing, and I've noticed that more and more, is people try too hard. You know, like if we're doing a class, if you notice that you're doing a class and you go, okay, what are you getting? And they'll close their eyes and they'll just frown and they're trying to figure it out and they're going, no. And I was doing a class with a woman last week and I was talking about vegetarianism. She goes, well, I'm a nutritionist, but when I ask about dairy, I see blue. And I go, no, you can't. You gotta get yourself out of the way. So it's interesting stuff.
It is. Makes it lots and lots of lots of fun, right? It's about
so much fun. It's so much fun when the light goes on and people just really start doing it.
Start connecting and doing that.
And you
So
do
what
a
do you,
lot of that. What were you going to ask me?
what are the big questions? Because I know you're a reader and people come to see you for readings.
Mm-hmm.
What are the big questions that people, do you see that people ask similar questions? What are the big, more important questions that they come and ask?
Great question right there. People used to always ask about their relationships. Am I going to meet somebody? When am I going to meet someone? Now they ask if they should stay with the person. People ask, and I'll go, you already know the answer. No, I won't do that. They'll ask about their direction. They'll ask about developing their gifts. They'll go, I really hate my job. What do I need to do? And you'll go, well, what do you want to do? They want to talk to their guides. They want to connect with their spiritual selves. They want to, like you, discover their spiritual gifts. They want to find their direction. They want to find their purpose. They want to find out why they're here. And now with COVID, people are not having the same jobs they had. They want to know what the next step is going to be. So I think it's about direction and what their purpose is. But, tomorrow it could change. Someone said something really interesting to me a couple of years ago, and they said, a lot of times when you get a question, it's really for you as well. And what I have noticed also is it'll be a theme. They'll all want to know the same thing. So I think it's direction. I think it is relationships. I'm not saying they don't ask that anymore, but it's stuff like that. And then it's also, should I move? Should I buy a new house? It's interesting. I think it's coping a lot of times. Does that make sense? It's what do I do now? What's the next step?
What's the next step? Well, I love your mother's answers. We're here to go out to eat and go to the movies.
I know it. God. And we were eating out at the time, so it kind of fit.
That's why we came here, to go to the movies.
I'll go for that. I'll go for movies and out to dinner.
and out to eat. That's really what we were looking for.
I think we're here to be happy.
Talk to us a little bit about your meetup group, why you started it, what
great. Thank you. I was afraid I wouldn't have anything to talk about. You guys are good. Okay, so in 2009, I was working at some job and it ended. And then I got another job and it ended. They'd all end, but they'd end for reasons, not usually because of ineptness. They'd end because the company was cutting down on people or, just different things. And a friend of mine said, the universe is trying to tell you something because your jobs keep ending. And I think you should start a metaphysical group. And I said, how do I do that? And he said, well, you know everybody. You just connect with them. I go, well, which way do I do it? He goes, meet up, like you dumb. Meet up. I went, what's meet up? Well, by now he was totally through with me, but he told me what meetup is. And I'm sure you do meetups. You guys do. I know you do. Meetup started in 2000. I'm not really sure. I want to say 2003 as an answer to 9/11. And they thought that there was a need for people to connect because of 9/11. And so it's an online group, although you can go to places and you can find meetups anywhere. They meet in, I want to say 100-something countries, and they have millions of members. And so I had 3 meetups to start. I had an I Ching meetup, I had a spiritual discussion meetup, and I had an introduction to metaphysics meetup. So right now the group has more members now, Dave. It has 2,651 people. But I didn't want to be a little nitpick. No, it's not 2,000. It's and it's incredible. We meet twice a month. We have amazing speakers. We've had Dave a couple times. Dave is really good. We're getting Jason in a few weeks. And I have the speaker come in. We're doing it online. And someone said, it's not really a place where experts come. It's a place where really cool people come. So they never get paid because they're getting promoted and they really do like to share. But I will market them. I usually charge $5 because it pays for the stuff, but I'm not going to charge for the online ones. I'm really not. So the last one we had a woman named Cheryl Watson, and she was talking about connecting with your archangels. And then we've got a woman named Lori Hewitt who's coming in. She's going to be talking about soul path readings. When they were in person, one of them was at First Spiritual Science Church. And, you know, we would just change and do them at different places. The other place would be the Althea Center. So I love it. It's absolutely fun. It's a great way to connect people. And so I've loved doing it. I'll probably continue to do it. And you probably get about 4 or 5 people joining a month. And then we get 1 or 2 leaving. And then I take it personally and I go online to see why they left. And they never tell you why they left. But it's a really, really good way to connect with people. So that's what my meetup does. And we'll just continue to do it.
Well, I love that. I love that.
Well, here's a good point for us to take a little break. Please stay with us. We're going to talk about opportunities that discover your spiritual gifts. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Violet Rain, Master and Teacher of Angelic Reiki at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. If you love angels, if you resonate with angels, or you're just interested in learning more about angels, most people really want to consider Angelic Reiki. But you know, Angelic Reiki is more than just working with the angels and learning a new healing modality. It's about ascension. And when you step into Angelic Reiki, you're not only working with angels, but you're working with ascended masters and galactic healers. The angelic kingdom of light, which includes all of those, steps in and helps you be able to hold more light. And what I have found along this journey is it expands your ability to be able to hold light, which raises your frequency, which accelerates your ascension process. So the individuals that step onto Angelic Reiki are really ready to step onto their spiritual path, learn more about angels, ascended masters, galactic healers, learn possibly a new healing modality that they'll use in their life, but also they're ready for those major shifts in their lives to really be on their spiritual path and take their journey to the next level. If you've been thinking about Angelic Reiki or you'd like to find out more about this beautiful modality, please don't hesitate to contact me, Vialet, at discoveryourspiritualgifts.com, or check out our website under classes. You will find Angelic Reiki there with lots of information about this program and the benefits of taking this course. We hope to see you in class really soon, and I hope to see you at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Well, welcome back to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts Live with our guest, Kendara Laurel. And we're having a great discussion about all the neat things she does. So I'd like to jump into some of your other gifts, Kendara. And you talk about doing channeling and mediumship. So tell us where your gifts are there and how they manifest.
Oh, I'd love that. Well, when I was 50, I took Reiki 3 master teacher. And it was my birthday, in fact. And I never really used it, but I started channeling. And so what happens is when I'm doing a reading or even talking to people, I just kind of get out of the way and let spirit come through and flow. And I get the answers that I know. It's not I work with other masters and teachers, but for the most fact, the meditation just allows me to connect so much that I'm given information on what to say. And then when I'm doing readings for people, I'm conscious, I'm totally there. But when I can get myself out of the way, you just know what to say and what to do. It's like when you're working with people and you're doing the clearing, I'm assuming, you just know. And Violet, when you're doing the classes, you're just given the information. So it's just being there and being present. So I don't do trance and I don't do heavy channeling like some people do. I just kind of allow it to happen. And I think it happens more than I realize.
Well, do you feel like you hear it and repeat what you hear, or do you feel like you just kind of get out of the way and the message just starts coming through you and you're not processing the information, so to speak?
Oh, that's a great question. I think you're combining. Someone gave me a really good reading one time and said, and I don't know who told me, but they said, just sit back. It was a woman named BJ King.
Yeah,
And,
I know BJ.
Yeah. And BJ said, when you're doing this, just step back and connect your higher self with the other higher energy. And I did that and it worked. So it's me connecting with myself and my spirituality. Does that make sense? Is that a concrete answer? Or is that like, well, what's she talking about? I'm going to have to look that up when I get home. And the next show it could be about explaining what she was talking about. See, that's even channeling too, because you get answers. And when I don't know, it's like, what am I going to say? And then I'll say, does that make sense? And they'll go, yeah, because it doesn't make sense to me. I think it's just not analyzing. It's just going with it. And again, it's
well, that really gets back to a lot of those insecurities that people new to this have when you're trying to help them, and you have to say, look, a lot of this is going to feel like you made it up. It's going to feel like it's your imagination, but that's the pathway that your subconscious has to bring this stuff through you. So you have to start allowing and quit judging it and quit evaluating it, because either the client will say, wow, that makes a whole lot of sense, or the client, some of the clients you have to kind of coach them a little bit, because they'll say, that doesn't make any sense at all. And you say, well, please write it down. It may come to you in a few days, or you may talk to somebody in a week or two who's a relative, and they'll say, oh, you didn't know that about Uncle Bob? Well, sure enough, Uncle Bob likes to wear green socks. And they'll say, oh, okay. And then they get back to you and say, now I get to reference to green socks. And
yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. And, talking about the insecurities, I think a lot of it is trusting what you give people. I remember doing readings at, Celebration when they were having it.
Yeah. Maybe
Years
you'll come
ago.
back.
Yeah, and I was giving a reading to a couple, and they wanted to, college kids, and they had just graduated, and they were both going to go their separate ways. And one of them said, we want to know if we're going to be together. And Spirit kept saying, we'll always have Paris. Tell them we'll always have Paris. I'm not going to tell them they'll always have Paris. I'm just not going to do it. Well, if Spirit wants you to do something, they're going to hit you on the head. Tell them we'll always have Paris. And I went, okay, they're saying, because I'm doing a disclaimer, they're saying to tell you that you'll always have Paris. And I thought, we went to Paris a couple of years ago, and you're right, we're always going to have that. So it's trusting what you get. It's trusting what you get. And also giving it to them, and for me at least, not trying to interpret it. Like if I get a woman, I might not say, Do you have a sister? Because I'll say, I'm seeing a woman who's tall with red hair and glasses.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just a feeling, but you're right. It's letting the people just trust it. It's trust it and acknowledge it and give thanks when you get a message. You don't have to do anything about it. But if you say thank you to your guides, you're getting more. They're going to continue. And the main thing, yeah, go ahead.
I just going to say another key thing in here is get your ego out of the way and don't hold yourself to a standard of 100%. Spirit doesn't always give 100%. In a lot of cases, they don't, because there's still this human condition and there's still wiggle room. And if you had 100% of all the information, why be here in this experience? You know, if you had all the answers, that would take all the pizzazz out of being human.
I love that. That's a really good way of putting it. And you're right, we don't have the answers. You know, I mean, I don't, at least not all of them. I might think I do, but I don't. But no, you're right. And we're not always supposed to know. And I know we do have, you know, there's always this line about free will, or is it all preordained? And I think you're probably given a roadmap when you come in and, okay, this is what you've got the possibilities of doing. I was given a reading years ago, literally, and someone said, you're going to meet 3 men this year, and you're going to have the idea to choose which one you want. And they described them, and that year I met all 3, and I ended up with none of them because I didn't want them. So you're given it, and then it's up to you. It's really up to you, I think. But those are great questions, and I think, like you said, it's trusting it. Just trust the process.
Well, another one I get many of, and you probably get them too, and I'm sure you do, Violet, is somebody, like a couple comes to see you, or a single person who's recently divorced and said, I just don't understand. I met this person, we lived together for a couple of years, everything was going great, we got married, and things fell apart in a year, and what happened? And what I find frequently is, okay, you knew them from a past life or several past lifetimes. There was a recognition between the two of you, but it wasn't intended in the big spiritual scheme of things for you to have a long-term relationship. And you guys decided to go ahead and get married because there's that familiarity, but it wasn't supposed to happen.
That makes total sense. I absolutely feel that you're right on that. It's true. I think we come across connections with people for as long as we need to. Have you ever read the book Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Myss?
Yeah.
You know, the part that I really love about that book is she talks about sitting down with the people you're going to be with in that life and connecting with them and deciding what your relationship will be like. In a past life, we were parents. In one life, we were married. In this life, we're going to be siblings, and I'm going to treat you so bad that you're going to learn to speak up.
Yeah.
And you're going to make me be a little kinder. And what I loved that she said is, the way you can tell what your contract with that person is the thing that ticks you off the most about them. So yeah, I think we come across for a certain amount of time. Don't you love that? And you start thinking, yeah, boy, that does fit. But it's true. I don't think it's permanent. I think we're just meant to learn and grow. And it's like, yeah, interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
It's about the experiences, right? The experiences that we chose to have. And some people get stuck in cycles and they can't seem to get out of them. They just keep repeating them over and over again. And I think we need a shock sometimes to knock us out of the hamster cage to turn somewhere else. So things happen to kind of push us off track intentionally to get us back where we need to be. You know, we see people get stuck all the time. You know, they get stuck in the same stuff over and over again.
Gosh, they do. They do. Einstein's definition of insanity, doing it over and over and expecting different results. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Oprah said, the universe wants you to change your mind, and I'm sure you've heard this, first it's a tap on the shoulder, and then it's a brick, and then it's a door, and then it's the whole darn building. But it's really easy to get into the same cycle and doing it the same way. It really is. It's comfortable.
Yeah. Similar to the person banging their head on the same wall over and over again. It's like,
I love that.
Are you done? Let me see if I can help you. If you're done, let me know. If you're not, keep going. Keep banging your head on that wall. Let me know how that goes. I'm sure our guides sit back and watch us do the same thing over and over again, and they nudge each other and go, here we go again. They're doing it again. Here they go again. We're going to go through this again. Watch what's happening. Maybe this time it'll be a little different. And it's like, I'm sure they just shake their head at us sometimes.
They've gotta. That reminds me of a really good story I want to share with you. My mother was interested in this, but she wasn't really. And she had a neighbor, and her neighbor was the most hyper talkative, strong woman you ever met. And they went to see my teacher, and she gave them each a guide. And then they went again, and the woman, her name was Liz. The woman's guide said she really wanted to quit, and could they please give her somebody else? Oh, I guess they really got the short stick in that one.
I love that. I love that. Can I please be reassigned?
Oh, yeah. But I think you're right. They must get so fed up with this, like it's the same question over and over again. It's like, don't keep asking me. Yeah, but if I ask enough, maybe I'll get a different answer.
That's true. But it never works that way, does it? Doesn't, It's like and sometimes we can't see it ourselves, right? We need somebody else to remind us. I think it's so amazing when you are part of a community of other like-minded beings, because all of us need reminders. You hear somebody say something and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that, but I needed that reminder today. Oh yeah, I knew that down in, but Spirit's reminding me today. I think we need that. And when we're in a community of like-minded people, we get to connect, and allows us to do that. Just like you said earlier, when people come in for readings and they're asking questions, those answers are for us too. I mean, I get answers all the time in my sessions that I'm doing with people. It's like, yeah, that's for me too. I'm supposed to hear this. It's just being aware and open to what's coming through, and being around people that give us those messages.
Oh, yeah, I could not agree with you more. And it's helpful because Denver is such a huge metaphysical community. And I love the fact that there's enough to go around. Like, I'm not going to do Akashic readings for somebody because I don't know how. I'm not going to do soul retrievals because I'm afraid if I did, I'd end up in prehistoric England and I'd never be able to come out again. I'm not going to do clearings. There's just enough to go around, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky to live in this area, that's for sure. So before we leave today, talk to us a little bit about what you have going, how people connect with you, what you're offering, all those good things, Kendara, because I want people to be able to connect and find out more.
Okay, I would love to do that. Well, my email address is originally kendaralaurel@gmail.com. My website is kendaralaurel.com. You can go to my subscribe page and sign up for a newsletter I have twice a month, which lets people know exactly what I'm doing. Meetup, just, go to my website, or just go to meetup.com, Introduction to Metaphysics. I do readings at Shining Lotus every Friday from 10 to 6 and one Sunday a month. And I am offering, which I wasn't doing when I spoke to you before, on July 18th, I will be offering an online psychic development class. And you can find out by contacting me, because I love teaching. I absolutely love teaching. This is going really fast. So basically, I think that's what I'm doing. I can't think of anything else. I wish I had all these exciting. I've written 5 books and I'm on a world tour doing, no, but I'm here in Denver. And I can't make things up because people would catch on. So no, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
I love it. And, we talked last time, and you were on my other show about how we're getting really comfortable with Zoom and offering
Oh
stuff
my gosh. Oh
online so they can connect, right?
my God, horror stories. Okay, go ahead.
You know, we're all, you know, we're back in the dinosaur times. We like the in-person stuff, but we're getting pretty good at this Zoom stuff and offering it so people can check in and see what you have going on, because you're trying to do a little both like all the rest of us, so that they can connect with you and do that. So just letting people know that there's those options available. But Kadar, thank you so much for being on our show.
Oh
It's
my
been
gosh.
a
Yes,
pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you both. It's been wonderful. I went fast. I really enjoyed it enormously.
Time zooms when you're having fun, right, Dave?
I love that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And
Thank you for having me. Great to connect with both of you.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
good talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
to our listeners, thank you for listening to this show. Please continue listening to messages from several of our practitioners at DYSG. It's very entertaining, and they provide a lot of great services. So thank you, and have a great week. Take care.
I am Deborah Peter. I am a craniosacral therapist. I had a career in accounting and finance for 20 years and had an opportunity to change pathways and decided to pursue a career in massage therapy because I was fascinated with the body. And that career in massage therapy then led me to craniosacral therapy. Craniosacral therapy is a body work modality that works with the nervous system and is beneficial for anything that the nervous system plays a part in. That includes trauma, any tension patterns in the body that are being held by the muscles or the fascia, headaches, chronic pain, or any pain that the medical community has not been able to find a reason for. So basically anything that the nervous system has a part in. A session is often generally 60 to 90 minutes long. The person relaxes on a massage table, fully clothed. The session can sometimes involve dialoguing, or the person is just able to go into a deeply relaxed state. The therapist, myself, looks for tension patterns and feels for tension patterns in the body and looks to help the body release those tension patterns. In this world, we're often in a state of fight or flight, and this work helps bring the body down into more of a rest and digest space, which is really where healing happens, because the body has its own way of healing, and I'm there to support the person in their process of releasing restrictions and tension patterns and emotions that are often held in the body and limiting their ability to fully engage in the world. I'm available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. I have offices in Inglewood as well as Littleton here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. If you'd like to schedule an appointment, you can reach me at my website at harmonyridgemassage.com, or you can give me a call at 303-725-5800. I also offer a 20-minute free consultation over the phone if anybody's interested in more information or to find out if craniosacral therapy could help them with anything that they're dealing with. I look forward to working with you.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Kemper. I am a restoration master healer. I work through people's energy grid as I see it. I call it grid working. And I also work with Mother Gaia and the ley lines of the earth, but I also see that and can translate it around somebody's energy body. I got into this through working with another teacher that was showing us to look around a body or an energy body, and I realized that I could see colors. And so when I pinpointed the color, Then she made me trace it all the way back. She said, you have to trace it all the way back to the origin. And once I did that, I realized that I could see around people in what looks like an Excel grid sheet. And we get things stuck in that grid sheet, or we get formulas that are blown. And I help people restore those grids through different energies. It could be dragon energy, archangel energy, colors, flowers, all sorts of, everybody works with something different. And I help bring those through to restore your grids. You can find me at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in historic downtown Littleton. I work at this center on Wednesdays and Thursdays between 10 and 5.
Hi, this is Dave Barnett, better known as Dave the Mystic. I am a long-term aerospace engineer, but back in 1983, I had some events in my life that forced me to reconsider how reality works. I became involved in healing, channeling, meditation, and developing my psychic gifts. Over the years, I continued to work with these, and I had a wonderful opportunity in 2003 to take 4 years and really delve into all forms of healing, and along the way, other gifts showed up. I am now working at the center full-time, and I'm happy to offer work with past lives, with working with subconscious core beliefs. I do a lot of work with energy and entity clearing, and since I do this always long distance, I can do it all over the world. I also work with karma burning and with soul retrieval and soul splinter return. I'd be happy to work with you. Please feel free to give me a call here at the center, and we can set up an appointment. My direct phone number is 303-902-5323. Thank you and have a great day.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio.